Hey folks, it's Brad LeDrew here at Western GM in Drumheller, Alberta, Canada, and today we're looking at our very first 2020 Chevrolet SPARK. The SPARK is one of, say, 5 gasoline vehicles, cars available in Canada. We have a SPARK, we have the Malibu, we have the Impala, and we've got the performance cars, your Camaro, and of course Corvette. The SPARK is available in an LS, a 1LT, a 2LT, and if you're in America, it's got the active package, which is really neat. It adds a little sportier touch, a little suspension lift, and some rails on top for your surfboard, whatnot. Really cool. Now the highlights of the SPARK is pretty straightforward. It's a 1.4 liter dual overhead cam, variable valve timing, naturally aspirated, so no turbo, which is great because there's benefits of turbo. So you got lots more power in a small package, but it's like having a second engine, so that's double your repairs. This has 98 horsepower and 94 foot-pounds of torque. And this car is responsible for 68% of new customers, or conquest in the car business we call it, for the General. 68% of new customers are buying this vehicle, and it's sold in 37 countries across the world. Now, why would a car so small and so cheap, like a 1LS here in Canada is an 11.5 car with freight, just add GST, okay? And this car in front of us is a 1LT CVT, okay? And this one prices out at $17,900 and has got lots of bells and whistles. So how could a car so small and fairly inexpensive account for so much conquest for General Motors? So that's what we're going to get into. This car is the love child of the Corvette. I know you're not going to believe me, but it's true. The engineers at GM said, hey, we need a small car that's going to be affordable, that's going to be fun to drive, and we're going to sell it all across the globe. So they gave it to the Corvette crew, the team at Corvette, and said, what can you guys come up with? And what happens is you get a really crazy, small, fun to drive car. And I don't want to be cliche, it drives like a go-kart, blah, blah, blah. It's just a really fun car. It's a small car. It's a 4-passenger, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. It's a super small, compact, great city car. Again, available in a 5-speed manual, okay, both in the LS and LT trims. If you go into a 2LT, you can have only a CVT. So to talk about some of the highlights about why this car has such got good performance and yada, 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 is a normal CVT in these cars is just a single-stage CVT. This has a 2-stage. It's got a primary and secondary pulley, so you get better torque and better get up and go. And also when you're in mid-gear, so say you're driving around town, you're at 40 or 50 kilometers per hour, you want to get up and go a little bit quicker, that's when that secondary pulley will lock the first together and giving you better performance. So that's one reason. Another reason is it doesn't matter, this vehicle doesn't just have McPherson struts in the front, say like most other cars, but it's also got side load compensated strut modules and stabilizer bars, okay? It just doesn't have a rear torsion beam suspension, which is found, universally a lot across so many cars in this category, and even when you go into a category bigger. But this also has springs and shock absorbers in the back as well. It's got 4-channel ABS brakes. Most cars in this category have 2-channel. So 2-channel means that you've got a line coming from both rear tires. Both rear wheels. Sorry, they go to the engine and they go into this little module, and they go in together and combine into one. So let's say if this tire back here has more traction than the other tire, it doesn't matter. They're just grabbing. Your ABS are grabbing the exact same time. So that's your 2-channel ABS. Yeah, they have a separate line for each one, but they combine into one. So this has 4-channel ABS brakes, and of course the Corvette team's not going to let you have disc brakes without the front ones being vented. So you also have vented front disc brakes, which is crazy. But, obviously this isn't a Corvette. This is not a performance car. But it's got lots of touches done to it so that even though it's an inexpensive car, it's not a cheap car. And I think that's the really key word here, is that it's not a cheap car. It is an inexpensive, and you get a fun, comfortable ride, and you get incredible fuel economy. Here in Canada, this is a 50 mile per gallon, which is 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway, which is an incredible amount of fuel economy. Combined city and highway combined is 42 miles per gallon, or 6.7 liters per 100 kilometers. Maintenance is also on the low or on the cheap end. You're looking at your full synthetic oil changes on this thing is going to run you around $60, and you're doing them every 12,000 kilometers. Your spark plugs in this vehicle are a long life. You don't have to change them till 160,000 kilometers. Your CVT, you don't do any work to it. You don't change anything. You don't do anything to it. Your 5-speed manual, the same thing. It's got synchromish fluid in it. You don't change it. It's just there. So the maintenance on the low, even your tail lights, your headlights are your traditional halogen bulbs. So you're not looking at expensive LEDs or projector beam lights and all that sort of stuff. So again, it's well thought out. It's well characterized for longevity. And again, you can see decent amount of ground clearance as well for such a small car. And it's absolutely ginormous when you look at passenger volume inside for such a small car. So you've got, I think it's 2,350 total amount of passenger volume in here. So you can see you've got that split tiered storage. You got this little hard tunnel cover up top. So again, to keep things private, you've got your adjustable headrest on both sides. And again, you can see this is a 4-passenger, so you got that center cup holder console here in the middle. And you can just pull up on this little thing here if you want to push these seats ahead. So you got something a little bit longer to put into it. Safety, again, GM hasn't skipped out on anything. For safety on this model, you're looking at whoa, the sun is going to wreak havoc on us here. Let's get in, sorry. We've got 10 airbags in this vehicle as well. And if you go into that 2LT, or if you go into the active model in the US, which I hear we're going to be getting in Canada maybe later this year, which is pretty cool. Like I said, it's got a little bit of a lift, it's got a little more aggressive styling, that sort of thing. But what's really neat is you've got some really cool interior options. So you can go your jet black with your dark gray leather. You can go your jet black with your with your orange burst leather inside, or you can also go with your jet black and Caribbean blue leather inside, and that's all available on the 2LT or the active trim. You can see right here we've got that dark gray with the black, so all these inserts here would be those orange burst or whatnot in the leather trim. But you know what, we've said this before, I'm 6 foot, I'm 260 pounds, and guess what, if you're a university student, most of them are not my size. In fact, most adults are not either. But if you take a look, my legs are just touching, okay? Plenty of room. I'm not floating over into the center here. And you can see we got an armrest right here. And I've got this front seat set up perfectly for me as well. So this is just giving you a good example. A big adult in the front, you can still get a big adult in the back. You see your handle right here, I really like that. Moving on down, you've got pretty standard fare. Obviously, you're not going to get your high-end chrome and real wood inside of a car like this, but you still got a nice, what they call black ice metallic on the doors, some texture on the plastic, and even this is a little bit softer textured, I guess, you know, a little bit of foam with leatherette, okay? You can also see in that driver's seat, I apologize with the sun, folks. Okay, now when you go into 2LT or the active model, you also get a power seat, and these front seats are heated leatherette or leather seats as well. You can see you've got your automatic headlights, your traction control, stability control button there as well. And let's just grab a seat inside. So, first off, you can see your DIC, or driver information center, right here as well. The sun is not the greatest at the moment, but if you notice, you got a little jog dial over here. This is for your cruise control set, all that, or sorry, for your cruise control, for your driver information center. I apologize. Hit the menu button here. What do you want to see? It'll go to your oil life, right, to your fuel, and then you can scroll through and change it and see your tire pressures, all that sort of stuff as well. Pretty cool, pretty neat. Moving inside, obviously, we've had your 4G LTE Wi-Fi in most Chevrolet vehicles since 2014. So you've got 4G LTE Wi-Fi and hotspot in this vehicle. And you can also see that we've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So if you don't want to use just the regular GM system, this can be your iPhone or your Android phone with your your audiobooks and your Spotify and all those sort of apps that are compatible will be right there at your fingertips, along with obviously your text messaging and stuff that you're used to. So again, you're safer on the road. Your eyes are ahead on the road, as opposed to be, you say, looking down and playing with your phone in your lap or whatnot. You can see we got cruise control here. Moving over to the other side, we got your talk and your hang up buttons. So again, for your commands, for voice commands, and this is just for your radio stations and your volume. Okay. And then moving down here, you can see we've got our manual climate control with air conditioning. You can see we've got our automatic CVT transmission, again, a 2-stage CVT. And you can see also the armrest here, and we've got the e-brake. So when you're drifting, the Corvette team, maybe you're not going to do too much drifting, but let's having a bit of fun here. And when you go into reverse, you can see your full backup screen here as well. So again, pretty standard fare, very comfortable, fairly quiet vehicle as well. And again, a very huge success for General Motors. Sun's gonna kill me here as I start to drive. But I want you to hear, oh, of course I don't have my seatbelt on. Normally, a lot of people have been hesitant with CVT transmissions because of the noise they make. And I just want you to hear just, we're doing 50 kilometers an hour and you're not hearing this wah, wah sound that a lot of people hate with CVTs. And again, that has to do with that 2-stage CVT. Again, GM is making a vehicle, a world vehicle sold in 37 other countries, that is not a cheap car, right? There are other cheap cars in this category, and I don't want to say anything that rhymes with a die that starts with an H. But this is a quiet, comfortable, well thought out, upgraded front and rear suspensions, upgraded braking systems, upgraded automatic transmission, a very slick and fun to drive manual transmission with vented disc brakes in the front. Because you know what? If you're going to buy an inexpensive car, you don't want it to be a pile of bolts or a crappy little car. You want a fun to drive, comfortable, quiet, and you know what? Again, something that's fun. And that's what GM really accomplished with this vehicle. Again, thanks to the Corvette team. I'm just going to pop right back out. Moving over to the front here. So here you go. There's your engine. We're using the Dexos 0W20, which is a full synthetic oil in this vehicle as well. So your battery is really easy to access here. Your windshield washer fluid, your brake fluid, your overflow for your radiator fluid as well. Your air filter is right here. This is a full aluminum engine. Even the exhaust manifold is integrated into the vehicle. It's all cast, one die-cast aluminum engine with the exhaust manifold built in. It's got a lot of cool technology for what is a smaller, inexpensive car. And again, that's the key word. Fun to drive, inexpensive, not cheap. There you go, folks. It's another one-take shoot here from Brad LeDrew at Western GM in Drumheller, Alberta, Canada. Get on down to your local Chevy store, take it for a drive. Think you'll be impressed. Great starter car, great addition to the family. Maybe you got a Silverado for your most of your normal stuff you're doing, but when you're in and around the city and just running around, you want something extra for the kids. This is a great little car. There you go, folks. Have a great day.